if a woman is being promiscuous with a man, if she's easy, so to speak, that whole process, that whole vasopressin bonding process goes out the window for a couple reasons. One, I described it to you as far as just as the biochemistry doesn't mix. And the other is that men, and this is really important for women to know, men have the tendency, especially the high testosterone alpha male types, to start categorizing women right away. If she is easy, he is going to start categorizing her into the for a good time only, but not for marriage. And then if she isn't, he's going to categorize her into the other one, the marriage potential. And this is based not so much on, chauvinism and that type of thing, like a lot of women might think, but there's really an insecurity in male humans, men, in other words, because, there's a couple things at play here. There's women have what we call female choice. Female choice is based on finding somebody that has genes that really appeal to her. In other words, the good-looking guy, hunky guy, that type of thing, that will produce great children. But the other thing is the kind of guy that will have enough character to stick around and be honest and that type of thing. So she's balancing female choice, that type of thing, with his paternity certainty. With our internal gestation that we have, really only the women are the only ones that know for sure who the father is.
Yeah.
So over time, these young men from the past, it's been very important for them to be able to trust her. And so it turns out that sexual integrity and sexual loyalty are the most highly valued traits in a woman that a man is considering asking to marry him. So women need to know that. The other thing is women don't know is that a sex difference, as we're talking, after unmarried intercourse, a man's evaluation of a woman after unmarried intercourse will start dropping typically about 10 seconds after he has orgasm with her. Doesn't take very long.
Because you were saying the chemicals wash out the bonding chemical?
Yeah, and he's on to, if he's got his phone nearby, maybe, I'm being a little facetious here, but soon he's going to be, he's going to be looking, in Tinder or whatever it is, for the next one and the next one, and the next one. It allows a man, because this is a dopamine, it's a real, hookup sex is a real dopamine popper for men, and also, of course, testosterone. It keeps his testosterone and dopamine high all the time, and he never gets to that, again, that bonding, that vasopressin and oxytocin stage. Mm-hmm. So again, what the women don't realize is that, and again, I've had two young women I was working with, and they each had a mom in one case and a dad in the other case, and the mom and the dad, different marriages and such, but they both had destroyed their marriages by cheating on their spouse. And, they were single now. And they told their daughters, that their 20-something-year-old daughter, you got to have sex these days with a guy in order for him to consider marrying you, in order to, you got to let him kind of test you out. Well, again, that's the worst thing that they can do, because, here's a scenario. Because she has a more simple bonding process, all it takes is dopamine, which he's getting from being around him, and oxytocin, which is rising, by the two of them being together and, hugging, kissing, that type of thing. But especially if they have sex, her oxytocin really jumps through the roof. So
the woman will
here
then
she is all bonded.
It's like she'll bond a lot more. She'll bond a lot more after having sex.
And it's very simple and easy for her to bond. So she's bonded to this guy. And 10 seconds afterwards, he's so much better looking than I thought he was. And he's such a great guy, he'll be such a good husband and father. Little does she know that what her giving it to him, so to speak, has kind of destroyed that, basically. So this is why the old school 1960 and back, they only had 5% of their births out of wedlock. 5%. We're at 40 now overall. And some ethnic groups have 70, up to 70, and, kind of ranges. So we're in a horrible place as far as our society goes that way. And it's because we've departed from this. Let me give you something, Colleen, here that, and your listeners, your audience, I think is really important. Along the lines of all this, kind of sum this up.
Yeah. Two
ways. One, the research is showing that the shorter the time to sex in a relationship, the shorter the relationship. I'll say it again. The shorter the time to sex in a relationship, this is on a population basis, the shorter the relationship. So first date, sex, boom. Again, what the research has shown is that boom, that relationship lasts next to nothing. And so anyway, the longer the time that the couples on average population basis wait to have sex, and again, I think yours and my bias is wait until after marriage, however long that is. It turns out that the relationship lasts longer. And I was talking to a co-ed young woman on one of the campuses in Florida State actually, and she asked the question, what's the thing that causes most marriages to break up and marriages to be unhappy? And I looked at her and said, I said, what the research shows is that numbers of premarital sexual partners has the biggest effect on whether a marriage will last and whether it's happy. And not meaning the higher the number, the less chance it's going to be happy and last. Yeah. And she looked at me and boy, she did not like that answer. She kept trying to find a way, it can't be because of that. And I told her, and I'll tell your audience that, these are just population averages and these are on a population basis. So there's going to be exceptions to that rule. But for the most part, that's your best indicator, how a marriage is going to go is how chaste have you been in both cases up to that time.